to take over. And that recipe on their last drive that resulted in a touchdown looked pretty good, so they'll be hoping to do that once more.
And it takes me back to when we sat with the offensive coordinator and the head coach. They felt pretty good about their game plan and thought there were some holes in the defense, and they exploited them the last time out. Let's see if they can come back and put together a similar drive.
And we'll see if they can do just that. And this is going to be caught. No, they say it's incomplete. The intended receiver was David Johnson, and that'll make it 2nd and 10.
That was a nice catch, but unable to stay in bounds. And remember, it wasn't a wide receiver who works on that all the time.
I was going to say, he likes to get the ball handed to him. Now, don't get me wrong, he's part of the passing game as well, but maybe a little out of his comfort zone there.
Yeah, he might want to have a few words to say to us about that later, but I am still going with you on that one. Wide receivers work on a little bit more.
Looks like the defense in press coverage here. 2nd and 10 now, and it's Palmer. Escaping the pressure right. Palmer's hit, fumble. He loses the football. And they're going to be set up in the red zone at the 15. And Tampa Bay trots out there now. Last time they were out, they scored. Still trailing here, though, so some work to do.
But it's okay in terms of mindset. Because they scored the last time, they're not quite as worried about being down on the scoreboard because now their confidence is a little bit higher. They feel like they got something going, and they feel like they can attack again and put more points on the board.
Are you scoreboard watching if you're the... And he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Buccaneers. Charles Sims with 2 touchdowns on the season, both in this game. And the Bucs have taken the lead here in the 4th. And he puts it through. The Bucs ready for the kickoff. And here we go. It's in the air. That'll be taken in the end zone. Fighting through. And he'll take this up past the 20 and down at the 22-yard line. Arizona getting ready to go as they take the field. And last time, not only the turnover, but that turned into 6 points. They got to make up for that here.
We always hear about empty possessions, but some are worse than others. You can have an empty possession, punt the ball away, get yourself set to play defense, but when you turn it over, it changes momentum, and when they take it downfield and punch it in on you, that's a bad possession all the way around.
Yeah, but you're hungry to get back out there, aren't you?
You better be, because otherwise it's going to be a long day for you.
And the play goes for 19 yards, gives him a new set of downs. Well, clearly one of his advantages as a passer is his height, sit back in the pocket, fired over the middle. That makes things tougher defensively, doesn't it?
It really does, because your goal is to move the quarterback off his initial spot when he gets his drop back completed. But when you have that type of height, he can stay in there if he's willing to take the hits and just fire over the...
Palmer's hit, fumble. He loses the football. And it's picked up by the Buccaneers. And he returns it to the end zone. A fumble recovery touchdown for the Bucs. This was a close game. They needed a little breathing room. Boy, they got it right there on that return for a touchdown.
Yeah, we would say that this could be huge. Forget it. It was huge. Gave him a comfortable lead.
And he knocks it through. And you can bet they're preaching 2 hands on the ball here as the kick's away following that fumble return. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll be taken down just past the 20 at about the 21-yard line. And the Cardinals getting set to trot out there now. Now Palmer on first down. To the right side, and he's got Landry complete. So he got free of 1 tackle, but couldn't do a whole lot else. Give him 2 yards on that play, and that'll make it a 2nd down. Short play like that in this situation this late, that's a win for the defense.
No doubt. I remember something Coach Madden used to talk about all the time. Sometimes you can't just take what the defense gives you. You have to take what you need. And in this case, the offense is taking what the defense is giving them, not what they need.
Palmer now. And Gresham's got it over the middle. And he'll be brought down right at the 30 here. It'll be a gain of 6, and that'll make it 3rd and 1. time for a break. We'll come back to wrap this one up after this.
Check three. I got you.
And the Bucs with an extra defender in the secondary now on third down. On 3rd and 1, it's Palmer. It's brought in by Floyd. And he's got the first down yardage before he's brought down at the 42.
I don't care how many times we see it. I still get a kick out of watching quarterbacks and receivers do the pass trade in pregame warm-up. But I always remember that when we go to practices, we see that after practices.
And this is caught right along the sideline. What a job of keeping the toes in bounds there. And at this stage, down in the second half, looks like they just wanted to find a way to get it in the hands of their playmaker, and they did.
I think you're exactly right. I don't think the coordinator's looking at his play sheet and trying to figure out which play will work well. He's trying to figure out how to get the ball to the playmaker that you just described. Looking down at that sheet, you find people plays, not necessarily X's and O's, and that's exactly what they did there.
Jarvis Landry, the intended receiver, and that'll make it 2nd and 10.
But depending on the team, they call that an explosive play or a chunk play, the one that they got on the previous one. They tried to go back and get another one, didn't they?
They did, but unsuccessful on that 2nd attempt. And some changes here as the D-line separates some.
Get ready. Blues 50. Mirror. Sally 19.
2nd and 10. It's Palmer again. Dumping it off for Johnson. And he's brought down. That one goes for 16 yards. It sets him up 1st and goal. And now they're in the hurry-up. And on the outside, they're playing press coverage.
I'm going to show my age here a little bit. We used to talk about running backs catching the ball as safety valves. Nowadays, they're a big part of the passing offense.
Quit acting like you're so old. You're only 65. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's 2nd down. A little risky there when you roll out of that pocket right like you did. You complete the pass, but you don't get anything out of it.
But how many times have we seen when a quarterback exits out of the pocket, doesn't matter whether they go left or right, the defense loses its leverage, right? There's a little chaos back there, and receivers come open. Great discipline on that.
And he takes this one into the end zone, and all of a sudden, here in the final minute, things get a little bit tighter.
And there's the touchdown that they needed, so they'll celebrate, but the guys on the sidelines, they've got to stay focused. The onside kick team, they need them to get the ball back.
Yeah, part one of the equation done. Now they need to convert and get that onside kick. Palmer looking to throw. And no, it falls incomplete. So the 2-point conversion, no good. So with 40 seconds left, we'll see the onside kick. If they've ever needed one to go their way, it's now. And this is going to be recovered by the hands team. And that should just about put a capper on this one. 4th quarter, they felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we've brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it, they do actually recover the ball, which is what we saw here. I just wonder if that number is much more of a anecdotal type of a number. Kind of like when the coaches tell us, well, when you score on special teams, 93% of the time you win the game. I'm still waiting to see that number is empirical.
They'll try and run with their fullback. And able to put. And now here's a timeout defensively coming from the Cardinals. It's just their first. They've got 2 more to use here in the final stages. They come out here in the eye. On 2nd down, Ingram. And he is going to lose. And now the Cardinals going to use another timeout. That'll be their 2nd, so 1 more chance to stop the clock here. And we'll be back. The first down line at the 34 here on 3rd down. They'll come up now in the Wildcat package. Going to give this time to the tailback. Oh, he's got a little daylight. And he's brought down after a good gain. They convert on third with a gain of 22.
Boy, where would these guys be without his performance on the ground? That puts him over 100 yards now for the afternoon, and I tell you, he seems to be getting stronger as the day goes along.
And, Charles, when you pull out a close game, the good thing about that is maybe next time you're in a nail-biter in the fourth quarter, you have a little more confidence.
Yeah, you're talking about your memory muscles, right? When you win those close ones, you have that confident feeling that you can continue to do so every time you're in that position.
Now, that said, you would rather win by 60 points, or do you like the close ones, too?
Well, I think everyone would rather win by 60. It's comfortable. Everyone gets to play. But when you win those nail-biters, dinner tastes just a little bit better that night.
So for the Bucs, they did what they needed to do. They split their first two road games of the year. And they'll return home next week to take on the LA Rams. Meanwhile, for Arizona, they will fall to 1-1. And they'll try to get back on track next week as they head up to Orchard Park to take on the Buffalo Bills. So